Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You're watching Food for Thought with me, Barbara Cooking Diva. You're in a safe place where we get together every Sunday to discuss the four major F's in my life and perhaps your life too. That's faith, family, finance, and of course, food. I'm your certified culinary nutritionist and chef, and I bring to you nuggets of goodness through thought provoking, interesting conversation on the fourth Sunday with one of my dearest friends, usually someone in a different field that could speak on the topic of faith, finance, and of course, family. And then every Sunday, join me in my kitchen where I take on food, where I teach you how to use food to manage your health and well being by cooking healthfully and eating healthfully to enhance your health and nutrition. Last week, I cooked up a delicious breakfast. It was Easter Sunday. I made a brunch for my family, and we had a great time. Did some ackee and saltfish, did some steamed callaloo. It was really wonderful. We enjoyed our Sunday brunch. So today I'm on the couch, not in the kitchen, and I just want to take a little time to talk to you guys, especially those parents. It won't be a long video, but I really wanted to come into this space and have a discussion that I hope will bring some awareness to you as parents with children in school from middle all the way up to high school, especially where the impact is greatest, even in elementary school. So, as you know, I am a high school teacher. I teach hospitality management and culinary arts, and I have access to students on a daily basis, interacting with them, seeing how they're handling school during this pandemic. And I can tell you guys, it's been rough. And a lot of them are not doing well with this whole virtual school. Um, it's tough. So let me just start by saying one of the things that a student benefits greatly from with in-person learning, when the child is in the classroom with the teacher, you as a teacher, you're able to assess on the spot what's going on with each student individually. And oftentimes in our field as educators, we talk about differentiated learning, where you gear your lesson uh, to meet the specific needs of the student. Um, we all have different learning styles, and so you're able to impact your student on a more personal level when you're with them. You notice certain changes. I know my kids as if they're my own. I can tell when something is wrong. I can tell if there's a shift in their expression, whether it's their physical expression, maybe it's something on their face, maybe it's something in their body language. Sometimes it's just the way they sound. They just don't sound themselves. And I can immediately pick up on that and respond to it. With the students being on virtual, which in many cases, uh, most students still are on virtual. It is challenging on both fronts. It's challenging for the teachers and it's challenging for the students because as a teacher, you don't have most of your students in your physical presence, and so you have access to them to more readily adapt and change to their needs in your instruction. On the hand of the student, they are on virtual for those that are on virtual. And at the middle school, elementary, even high school level, students still need a lot of guidance. And many of them who are on virtual are just not used to having that much independence, signing on in the mornings, uh, being attentive and engaged in class, staying the whole length of the class period. A lot of them are not doing that, and they're struggling with managing this newfound independence that has been tossed upon them because of the pandemic and the platform in which uh, learning is conducted, where it is in their home. There's a lot of distraction. I find a lot of my students, many times I'm redirecting them because I can see that they're talking to people in the background. It could be a family member, their parents, whatever. But it distracts them from the lesson and just from engaging and fully being immersed in the learning process. And so, in that regard, they struggle. They have a shorter attention span. It is harder to keep uh, them focused and engaged when they are online and virtually participating in a lesson. Sometimes a student who, when they're in school, struggle with staying attentive and even coming to class. That student who is now on virtual has even more difficulty, because oftentimes that student will not show up for class, or they'll sign in, and as soon as you take the attendance, they're out. Uh, they may check back in later on in the day to see if you've posted any assignment, and then they'll try to figure out or use the internet to help them. That's a big issue because there you have learning gaps beginning to develop. And what you find that those students quickly start to fall behind, the grades start to drop, and part of the reason is that they don't do well with this platform of doing virtual school. They need that extra attention. They need that extra redirecting and encouragement to do the work. So being on their own now at home, and many times, especially for those kids who are in high school, they're at an age where the parents can go to work and they can be left by themselves. I can tell you, and my colleagues and I, we talk about it all the time. The students are having a hard time doing the work, showing up to class, being engaged and taking things seriously. And a lot of them are just not engaged and are disengaged. And as a teacher, it concerns me because we're going to see the impact of this in a year or two from now. We may even start to see it happening right this year. Um, so, what do we do? What can you do as a parent? One of the things that I have always encouraged my parents to do is to stay involved in your child's learning and education. You have to be your investigator in finding out what is really happening. It may not be enough to simply ask, did you get homework? Or what did you do in class? You may need to ask to see it. You may need to initiate a conversation with the teacher about what your child is doing rather than relying on the child to tell you, oh, I'm doing well, or everything is fine, I'm attending classes and I'm getting all my work done, because that may not be the case. And your child could be falling behind, and you wouldn't have an opportunity to catch it and help. So you want to check every day. If they're on virtual, you want to check Google Classroom, what the teacher has posted there, the lesson, the kind of instruction. You want to see the work that they've turned in and the grades that they have. You're not asking, did you get any work today, or did you get homework? You're asking to see the homework. You're asking to see what they've done each day, so that you can know that the child is actually signing on to class, staying the whole length of class. With Google Classroom platform, it actually, once the teacher opens a class, it logs how much time each person spent signed on and signed into the class. It tells you when you enter the class, and it tells you when you leave the class. And then it sends the teacher a log. And this is something that is set up in the system, so the administrators know how much each child is spending in class per period. So that's something that you can ask your child's teacher for. How much time is he or she actually spending in class? Because a lot of times what the students are doing, they're signing in just to be marked present on the attendance. And as soon as they're marked present, they sign out, they leave. And so they don't get the benefit of the lesson. When the work is posted, because they missed the lesson, they don't know what to do. They are afraid to ask the teacher for help because they know that they did something wrong by signing out. And so they either don't turn in the work, or the work is turned in, but it's not done correctly. And that impacts their grade. So you want to check, and this is going to require a little bit more effort from the parent. I know it's hard, and you're dealing with work and all the elements of the pandemic, as everyone is. However, for your child's sake, for your sake, for your peace of mind, and just knowing that your child is getting the full benefit of a quality education, regardless of what we're going through, you will have to do a little bit more follow-up. If you're a parent who normally your child does very well in school and usually get the work done, so you never usually have to worry about them, you may need to be concerned about that same child, because they're going through a lot emotionally, mentally, just physically. Being in one space throughout a class period is very taxing on the body. So check in on them daily to see what's going on. Don't be afraid to reach out to the teacher. Don't wait until a conference is called where the school calls you to come in to talk about what's going on with your child. Be your own child's advocate. Make sure you're staying on top of what they're doing in school, and also how they're feeling. My students, we have what we call a daily check-in, where I leave the last 15 minutes of my class to simply ask my students, how are you doing? And they can tell me as little or as much as they're comfortable with, and they do so they just put it in the chat box. I'm doing fine. Sometimes I hear I'm tired today. Sometimes they'll say, oh, I can't wait for the weekend. Sometimes a myriad of things come back. Today I feel sad. Today I'm not in a good mood. You get a sense of what's going on with them. So don't forget not only to check on what's going on with them in terms of their academics, but also check on how they're feeling and how they're just dealing with this isolation. I have a 14-year-old niece in Jamaica, and she's on virtual as well. And one of the things she tells me that is the biggest thing is just for her to focus. She's finding it difficulty just to stay focused. in class simply because of the platform. They're not used to virtual learning. They're used to having a teacher there that can redirect them and just help them with interact with the content. The teachers are doing an amazing job at adapting and really trying to still provide quality education, quality instruction, but we're all challenged by it, and we do need the help of our we need everyone to come on board and be on board to make sure that your child doesn't miss out, is not left behind, is still getting that quality education that they deserve, until we figure out how we get back safely. So I just really wanted to take a minute to talk to you guys about what's happening in the classroom from my perspective, from my experience, and what I see happening to some of my kids that may be happening to your kids and in your family. So thank you. Thank you for joining. And don't forget to like, share, and of course, if this is not your first time and you have been liking my content, what you wait for? Subscribe and hit the notification button so every time I drop a video, you will be notified and you can check it out. And don't forget to share the video. I usually try to make my videos rich in content with really good nutritional information. When I have my guests once a month, the fourth Sunday in each month, we discuss a topic around finance, faith, or family issues. And I try to bring people who are resourceful based on their profession to come and talk about these various topics that affects my faith, my family, finance, and of course, I take care of the food and nutrition 3 Sundays every month. But I really wanted to take this break this Sunday and not be in the kitchen, but to feed you, pun intended, some food for thought as it relates to your children in school and how they're coping through this pandemic. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You've watched Food for Thought with me, Barbara Cooking-Diva. Yeah, that's right. Till I see you next time, take care. Bye.